Now must your conscience my acquaintance seal, and you must put me in your heart for a friend, sith you have heard and with a knowing ear, that he which hath your noble father slain pursued my life. It well appears, but tell me, why you proceeded not against these feats, so crimeful and so capital in nature, as by your safety, wisdom, all things else, you mainly were stood up. Oh, for two special reasons, which may to you perhaps seem unsinewed, but yet to me they are strong. The queen, his mother, lives almost by his looks, and for myself, my virtue or my plague, be it either which, she's so conjunctive to my life and soul that as the star moves, not but in his sphere, I could not but buy her.
The other motive why to a public count I might not go is the great love the general gender bear him, who, dipping all his faults in their affection, would, like the spring that turneth wood to stone, convert his gyves to graces, so that my arrows, too slightly timbered for so loud a wind, would have reverted to my bow again, and not where I had aimed them. And so have I a noble father lost, a sister driven into desperate terms, whose worth, if praises may go back again, stood challenger on mount of all the age for her perfections. But my revenge will come. Break not your sleeps for that. You must not think that we are made of stuff so flat and dull that we can let our beard be shook with danger and think it pastime. You shortly shall hear more. I loved your father, and we love ourself, and that, I hope, will teach you to imagine.
How now, what news?
Letters, my lord.
From Hamlet.
This for your majesty, this for the queen.
From Hamlet? Who brought them?
Sailors, my lord, they say. I saw them not. They were given me by Claudio. He received them of him that brought them.
Laertes, you shall hear them. Leave us. High and mighty, you shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall, first asking your pardon thereunto, recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Hamlet. What should this mean? Are all the rest come back, or is it some abuse and no such thing?
Know you the hand?
'Tis Hamlet's character, naked. And then a postscript here, he says, alone.
Can you advise me?
I am lost in it, my lord, but let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart that I shall live and tell him to his teeth, thus didst thou. If it be so, Laertes, and how should it be so? How otherwise? Will you be ruled by me? Aye, my lord. So you will not o'errule me to a peace. To thine own peace. If he be now returned, as checking at his voyage, and that he means no more to undertake it, I will work him to an exploit, now ripe in my device, under which he shall not choose but fall, and for his death no wind of blame shall breathe, but even his mother shall uncharge the practice, and call it accident. My lord, I will be ruled, the rather if you could devise it so that I might be the organ. It falls right.
You have been talked of since your travel much, and that in Hamlet's hearing, for quality wherein they say you shine. Your sum of parts did not together pluck such envy from him as did that one, and that, in my regard, of unworthiest siege. And what part is that, my lord? A very ribbon in the cap of youth, yet needful too. Your youth no less becomes the light and careless livery that it wears than settled age his sables and his weeds, importing health and graveness. 2 months since, here was a man of Normandy. I've seen myself and served against the French, and they ken well on horseback, but this gallant had witchcraft in it. He grew unto his seat, and to such wondrous doing brought his horse, as he had been encorpsed and dim-eye-natured with the brave beast.
So far he topped my thought that I, in forgery of shapes and tricks, came short of what he did.
A Norman, was
A
it?
Norman!
Upon my life, Lamont!
The very same.
Know him well. He is the brooch indeed, and Jim of all
He
the
made
nation.
confession of you, and gave you such a masterly report for art and exercise in your defense, and for your rapier especially, that he cried out, "Would be a sight indeed if one could match you." Sir, this report of his did Hamlet so envenom with envy that he could nothing do but wish and beg your sudden coming o'er to play with him. Now, out of this...
What out of this, my lord? Laertes, was your father dear to you, or are you like the painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart? Why ask you this? Not that I think you did not love your father, but that I know love is begun by time, and that I see, in passages of proof, time qualifies the spark and fire of it. There lives within the very flame of love a kind of wick or snuff that will abate it, and nothing is at a like goodness still, for goodness, growing to a pleurisy, dies in his own too much. That we would do, we should do when we would, for this wood changes, and hath abatements and delays as many as there are tongues, our hands, our accidents, and then this should is like a spendthrift sigh that hurts by easing.
But to the quick of the ulcer. Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself your father's son, indeed, more than in words?
To cut his throat in the church.
No place indeed should murder sanctuarize. Revenge should have no bounds, but, good Laertes, will you do this? Keep close within your chamber. Hamlet returned shall know that you are come home. We'll put on those shall praise your excellence, and set a double varnish on the fame the Frenchman gave you, bring you in fine together, and wager on your heads. He, being remiss, most generous, and free from all contriving, will not peruse the foils, so that, with ease, or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unabated, and in a pass of practice, requite him for your father.
I will do it, and for that purpose I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank so mortal that but dip a knife in it, where it draws blood, no cataplasm so rare, collected from all simples that have virtue under the moon, can save the thing from death that is but scratched withal. I'll touch my point with this contagion, that if I gall him slightly it may be death. Let's further think of this, weigh what convenience both of time and means may fit us to our shape. If this should fail, and that our drift look through our bad performance, 'twere better not essayed, therefore this project should have a back or second that might hold, if this should blast in proof. Soft, let me see. Will make a solemn wager on your cunnings. I have it. When in motion you are hot and dry.
As make your bouts more violent to that end, and that he calls for drink, I'll have prepared him a chalice for the nonce, whereon but sipping, if he by chance escaped your venomed stuck, our purpose may hold there. How now, sweet queen?
One woe doth tread upon another's heel, so fast they follow. Your sisters drown, Laertes.
Drowned? Oh, where?
There's a willow grows aslant a brook that shows his hoar leaves in the glassy stream. There, with fantastic garlands did she come, of crowflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples, that our liberal shepherds give a grosser name, but our cold maids do dead men's fingers call them. There, on a pendant bough, her coronet weeds clamoring to hang, an envious sliver broke, when down her weedy trophies and herself fell into the weeping brook.
Her clothes spread wide and mermaid-like, a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old tunes, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be, till that her garments, heavy with drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
Alas, then she is drowned?
Drowned.
Too much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears. But yet it is our trick. Nature her custom holds. Let shame say what it will when these are gone. The woman will be out. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly doubts it. Let's follow, Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage. Now fear, I this will give it start again. Therefore, let's follow.